Hi everyone, this is Jill. Thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen today. Well, the nights are getting longer and the days are getting shorter and it's getting cold out, which means it is autumn and it is my favorite time of year. Today we are making a pumpkin maple granola. Lots of spice and there's nuts and of course oats, maple syrup, and some dried cranberries. So let's get started. I have my oven preheated at 300 degrees and the rack is in the middle of the oven. So here we go. I've got a small bowl and I'm going to add, of course, maple syrup. I will have all the instructions and the ingredients and measurements down below under the video, and they'll be there for you so you don't have to write as we go along here. I'm going to add some vanilla, which is one of my favorite seasonings. That's 1 and 2 and a little smidgen more, maybe 2.5. How about that? All right. And then I'm also going to add some vegetable oil. I'm using canola oil. Any light flavored oil, you could use coconut. I would suggest if you do use coconut to use the refined so you don't have that coconutty flavor unless, you know, that's what you want. I need to get a little more of that maybe syrup out of that. And I'm going to give this a good whip. It's hard sometimes to get it emulsified, which of course means the maple syrup and the oil get combined, but you can do a pretty good job. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll be all right. That's looking very nice. I'm going to set this aside and we're going to start working on the dry ingredients. What I have here is some old-fashioned oats. The quick cooking work, but I think the old-fashioned always work better. And then I'm going to add some wonderful spices. I have cinnamon, some ginger, some cloves, and some nutmeg, and then I'm adding a little tiny bit of salt. That always helps kind of accentuate the sweetness when you're ever working with something sweet. And that's going to go in. And I'm going to give this a mix to make sure all those spices are incorporated into the oats. And then I'm going to add, got some pumpkin seeds, of course. This is a pumpkin spice granola. And then I have some chopped hazelnuts, also called filberts. And if you have walnuts, those would be fabulous in here. Chopped walnuts would be good, and chopped almonds would be good. We have the hazelnuts. We have a lot of hazelnuts that grow in our area, so we tend to go to those. All right, so that's nicely mixed up. And I'm going to put some gloves on because I like to get in there with my hands. Here comes the wet ingredients. See how easy this is, really. You know, for you to go out and buy granola sometimes it's not, you know, it's just so much. It's easy, it's less expensive, you know what's going in it. Nice wholesome ingredients, and you've got real maple syrup instead of maple syrup flavoring, right? So we're going to really work this into those oats. And once I have this pretty much to where I want it, I'll bring it back. So here we are. It's all mixed in very nicely. All of those oats are well coated, the nuts are well coated. So we are ready to put this into the oven. I'm going to get my cookie sheet. This is just a large cookie sheet. It's a great one. I think I have these at my Amazon store, and if I do, I'll put a link because these are some of the best cookie sheets I've ever owned. They don't warp, they clean up beautifully. So I'm going to put this all in the cookie sheet. And I will scrape the rest of that out in a moment. And I'm now going to spread it out. I'm trying to get that in the camera there. Okay, now you can see what I'm doing. And I'm just spreading this out nicely. Try to get it in one layer because it will toast much better that way. So I'm going to put it in the oven that's at 300 degrees, I preheated, and it's going to cook maybe 30-40 minutes, and I will check it after the 15-minute mark to see how it's doing, and I'm going to turn it. You know, you want to kind of rotate it, and I'll do that for you to see. I won't do every time I rotate it, but the first time I'll show you how it's looking. And then once it is done, I'll bring it out. I'll let you know how long it took to bake until it's a nice golden brown, and then we'll take a taste of it. So we'll be back. And here it comes. Oh, the fragrance, aroma, whatever you want to call it, in this kitchen. It is fall. It is absolutely fall in my kitchen. This is 15 minutes having been baked, and it's not done yet. It's not crispy. I can feel that with the spatula that it's not crispy yet, and that's fine because it's supposed to cook, 30 minutes, maybe a little longer, depending. So there we are. I have made a nice rotation and turn of that, and it is going to go back in the oven. And once I have it completely baked and it's ready to taste, so here we are. Beautiful, huh? I added, it's cold, and I added some dried cranberries to this. And it's best not to add dry fruit to a granola as it's baking, because what'll happen is they'll dry out and there'll be like little rocks in there. So, and you don't want that. And the other thing too is if you add it to your wet ingredients as you're mixing up the granola, they'll all clump together, and again, that's not really what you want. So always add your dry fruit, whether it's raisins or cut up apple or whatever it might be, after you've cooked the granola. So there we are, and I'm going to put some in a little bowl, and I know someone who wants to taste it. We'll be back. Well, it's fall.
It is?
It's fall. I can't help it. I can't stop it. I have to love it. It's fall. This is a wonderful granola, and I know how much you like homemade granola. So go ahead.
I do. I want to get a little of everything. Okay. Pumpkin seed, hazelnut, cranberries.
That's him. Now, this is without milk. We're just tasting it. Crunchy. Ooh. And that's the other thing. He loves it crunchy.
Wow.
Not too soft.
That may be the best batch you ever made.
And it took 35. Oh, really? That good, huh? Oh.
It's cooked perfectly.
I think it might be.
I do. Wow.
And those spices in a couple of days, they just pop open, but right now it is primo.
I know what I'm having for lunch.
Hey, that's probably a good idea. All right, well listen, the first recipe for the fall season, and you've got it, it's pumpkin spice maple granola. So get out there and make some. I've got the recipe and the instructions down below for you. Give me a thumbs up, and I've heard people say, smash that like button. So go ahead and smash that like button. Check out my Amazon store. Oh, did I scare you?
I didn't know what a like button was.
Like
button. Oh, like button.
Thumb.
I know.
Thumb. Check out my Amazon store. Subscribe. I know you're going to love it here. Subscribe. And we will see you next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.